Show us. That doesn't really work, does it? Have you tried? Oh, that's good. Oh, fantastic. Oh, fantastic. Better. So much better. What a fantastic, fantastic tune. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for young men to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. Young man, there's no need to feel down. Young man, pick yourself off the ground. I've been Donald Trump. Thank you and good night.
Then what size?
This one's from Jeremy in Wisconsin. And it says, Tuffy brand coffee is the best coffee in the world. Thanks for the grift.
Anyway, I'm going to find out who this quartering character is. And when I do, he's going to get a bit of the old ice troll treatment.
Went from loathing Brie Larson to being the unofficial #1 fan site for Brie Larson.
How about a handshake? You're gonna give me your jacket, your helmet, and your motorcycle, and in return, I'm gonna let you keep your hand.
Gadzooks, I'm drinking from a fire hose on a Monday. Holy moly. I hope you weren't planning on a calm January, Hannah Claire, because, by the way, I like this vibe. I'm liking the jacket, like I feel like, I feel like you're incrementally improving your fashion each week as I continue to wear the same black hoodie over and over again. But you're used to that. You're used to a co-host that wears the same thing.
Look, I actually don't think it's the worst thing, especially if you are busy and running a business like you are with your multiple enterprises. There was an article I read a long time ago about the director of a fashion house who was like, I'm intentionally wearing a uniform. Like, I got to make enough decisions.
Yeah.
But, I love a good jacket. Thank you so much. There are some incremental improvements hopefully coming, both with my style / also the set. But I don't know, nobody hold your breath,
Well, it looks like we're back in HCB HQ. So that's
we're back at
good.
headquarters. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's so crazy. I worked yesterday and I'm like, I like to work Sundays for like an hour or two because it has a multiplicative effect. It has a power force multiplier because I'll see what I need to know, what I need to cover on a Sunday. I'll record 3 or 4 of them so that Monday isn't so bonkers. Well, most of what I talked about on Sunday has already like out of date now.
Changed.
Yeah, and or had major changes to it. So I have to figure out, what can I repurpose? And then I was on a stream with Chris Pavlovsky before this, doing
flex there. Okay.
Well,
we
were doing
on Rumble. I get it.
Yeah. Well, we were going by and promoting Rumble Wallet and dropping. Chris tipped an IRL streamer who had 22 watchers $5,000 while we were on, and the guy just like broke down into tears and was like, it was clearly, maybe I wouldn't say life changing, but situation changing amount of money, and
it's encouraging. Like if you're grinding away, you have like a couple hundred people watching you, to get a big tip like that. That's such a morale boost, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible to see. And then you have obviously everything that's going on with in Minneapolis right now. And it says, will Jeremy bring Amelia to Estrocast? I don't know who that is.
Amelia Earhart?
HCB.
You know where she is?
Oh, well, HCB, I feel like a pirate hat is the next step. No, I think the last co-host I had that started wearing a pirate hat kind of spiraled a little bit. So I have now banned them.
Okay, you can weigh in on this, but I felt like I've been in a little bit of a rut, like sometimes you just put on the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
And my solution is to get some sort of dramatic haircut and or hairstyle.
No, I think your hair looks amazing right now.
Oh my
you
God,
shouldn't change
you.
it. It looks nice.
Well,
it's long.
Oh.
Yeah. What's that?
I said that's good to know because I was like about to be like,
no,
we're going platinum blonde. I know we have our challenge coming up. We might be changing our hair a lot, but
yeah, you might want to save. You might want to save that if we hit the 2,000 members. Then you have to die. Then you will have a pretty dramatic change.
Okay, cool. So it's happening for me no matter what.
Yeah, you're my fashion constant, Hannah Claire. We had Melanie Mack, who's totally out of control. Yeah, she's a different hair color every time she comes on stream. So
like, she looks so cool. I think I'm starting to wonder if the hair is like the key to women's looks. You have like a strong signature hairstyle, and like everyone's like, "Wow, so stylish." Even if it's not your style, you're like bold, putting something together. Sorry, I'm bringing too much Estrocast energy
nice,
right now. You're trying to talk about
straight
Minneapolis.
Hair also looks. Yeah, Chad agrees with me. So over the weekend, there's a lot. So I'm going to just give everyone a 30,000 foot overview, and then we're going to talk about kind of like each individual topic. So we had international newsreader Don Lemon storm a church, actually breaking federal law and getting notified. And by the way, this is one of those times where I think the federal government should just take it all the way. Like they should charge him. I believe there's like a KKK Act or the Space Act or something like that. That I don't know if that's what
the KKK Act, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, there's some literal hardcore federal law that says you can't do that. We had Nick Sorter getting robbed and dragged down the street by Somalis yesterday, and police telling him essentially to just keep it pushing, white boy, and to get out of the neighborhood, which FACE Act. Yeah, so we have that. they have Don Lemon, the FACE Act. What else do I have here? 10,000 illegals arrested so far in Minneapolis. That's actually crazy.
And they're saying they're being profiled. That's my favorite part.
Well,
They're
yeah,
like,
you are an illegal.
It's like, of course.
Certainly there are, certainly there are white people who are getting, grabbed up by ICE and mostly from the UK and countries like that for overstaying their visas. But yeah, I mean, I can pretty much, look, if you're here illegally, you're probably look a certain way. Profiling is a good thing. It is an efficiency thing. It's one of the things that makes humans us, is a pattern recognition. And
if your city has a disproportionately high concentration of migrants, asylum seekers, illegal immigrants, whatever you want to say, from a certain country, I don't know if it counts as being targeted. Like, if that's who's here illegally, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I don't really have a lot of time. You see a lot of these like illegals that were told, they always, like, a lot of these Somalis, like, racism. I mean,
only when they're caught doing fraud, though. Or not only,
right.
But like currently it's like they get accused of basically embezzling millions of dollars. Like, I was just listening to a story about a guy from, I think it's called Pelican Point, and how he was claiming to have served 6,000 meals a day.
Yeah.
There's
that guy got cooked.
It was bigger than the whole population. He had millions of dollars, and now it's like, but racism. Like, I'm being targeted because I'm not from here.
Fine. This is 2026. Fine. Yep, it was racism. Now what? You still committed the crime. So it's wild. Some of the footage coming out of Minneapolis this weekend, very scary. I know there's a lot of footage around a particular guy who claims someone tried to stab him, but was saved by his plate carriers. They robbed him. Minneapolis police just standing down. When you think about, I want to go back to that 10,000 number. When you think about 10,000 illegals, I don't know how many houses that is. Okay, let's say it's 6,000. 6,000 available apartments in Minneapolis actually immediately changes the market. People talk about, it's impossible to get a home. It's impossible. The price of rent is too damn high. Because rent is so high, I can't save up money for a home. You open up 7,000 apartments in a single city in a month, you're going to see rent drop by 25%, because they're going to need to rent those places out. And
think about how quickly the rent market changed during COVID, when people were bailing out of big cities. I knew friends who, like, within 2 months were being offered all kinds of benefits and perks and months off and reduced rent to stay in their apartments. The market is very dependent on the population size. And if it was suddenly reduced, whether because of, I don't know, some sort of pandemic that makes people flee, or I don't know, the removal of people who aren't here illegally, you're going to see a change very quickly, which is important because America is, at this point, a nation of renters.
Yes. Yeah. And, in just a short period of time, even when I was young, the idea of buying a home was never something that felt out of reach to me. My first home I bought for $165,000. It was like a 1,200 square foot house that had a finished basement. I mean, I could still be living there now and be happy. That house now is probably $350,000. That's a lot more. And then, when I was renting, I was paying like $700 a month for a brand new 2-bedroom apartment, like in a brand new building, $700 or $800. That was a nice place. I could have gotten like more of a older apartment, probably in the 500s to 600s. That now is $2,000 to $3,000. My first mortgage was $1,263 a month. And it's like, you can't even rent a 2-bedroom apartment for that. So all these people that are talking about, the price of rent or the price to buy cars, homes, whatever the case may be. I mean, you go in any major city, you clear out 20,000 rentals. That actually has a real effect, and it goes downhill too, right? Because Now people can afford apartment. You get more people in those apartments moving into homes. You get more, people moving from 2 people in a house to, an apartment to 3 people. I'm sorry, 1 person. You get like all sorts of downhill stuff. 10,000 illegals already in Minneapolis. I would say, I mean, it would. I don't want to take too wild of a guess here, but I would say it's not crazy to think that there's probably double or triple more. If they stayed there for another 2 months, could they get 30,000? What does that do to voting? There's already a lot of suspicion, and particularly in sanctuary cities, states. Let's talk about, the local elections. Sure, we can talk about the president, but there's a lot more oversight when you're talking about presidential election in some cities. And, I think ultimately you could see a lot of these. We talked about this on Thursday or Wednesday last time. A lot of these purple counties that have been blue have a very, very real shot at being red now. You can't tell me moving 20,000 illegals out of Minneapolis, including thousands of Somalis who were pouring millions of dollars into, supporting people for certain elections, that disappears.
Right.
I think you have a real, a state like Minneapolis could go red, or Minnesota. Like, the more
do you think it would go full red, or do you just see like increasingly purple?
Well, Minnesota, I mean, Minnesota is a lot like Wisconsin, even though I think in 2016 it went for Trump. Then it went back. Then it went to Biden, and then it stayed, and then it went Kamala. Am I wrong? I think it's been like purple leaning blue,
Right.
unlike Wisconsin, which was purple leaning red, which went Trump, Biden, Trump. You start getting people out, or Minnesota was blue all 3, but it was close. It was close.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about 20, 30,000. You talk about these morons storming churches, which is going to radicalize normies. I mean, can you imagine being international newsreader Don Lemon and being like, I just don't know what everyone's mad about. I mean, 2 months ago, somebody dressed in all black went into a church and started shooting kids. Now we stormed a church in all black. I don't know why everyone's mad. And then you bring in, if Trump can get voter ID like in place, I don't think he can probably do it by the midterms, but I mean, that flips probably 3 states red from blue voter ID laws. That probably flips Minnesota. That keeps Michigan red. Maybe some of those. What was the one that was really close this last election that we were wondering if it was going to flip and then it stayed blue? Was it
Not West Virginia.
Carolina, South Carolina? It was one of those states that was like teetering, and then or Virginia maybe. No,
Virginia was kind of up in the air because it had so much influence. Let me pull my notes from that time period.
Yeah,
see what we have. Because you're right. Like, there were a couple states where
New Jersey was one too.
Right. When you were doing like presidential math, it was like, obviously like, oh, he's definitely going to get these, but then these ones are in play. And so you could get these, you're kind of shuffling them around the deck. But I felt like the list of states that were in play was significant. I mean, when we were doing the election stream, it was, I think, at least 10 that we were continuously going back and forth on. So it does make a big difference who is there and how quickly things change. I also think, we talk about this a lot, but the Epstein file stuff was losing focus for a lot of moderates and MAGA voters. But now you have the images of people protesting ICE and then storming churches. And I think that is a call to the ballot box. I think this is enough to motivate someone who might have thought, I'm going to stay home. I don't care about the midterms. Not everywhere, not universally, but for a lot of people, they do not want to see lawlessness in the name of equality or fighting fascism or whatever they're claiming to become acceptable, especially because it's those voters and their neighbors that pay the price.
Yeah, and I think, initially I was like, well, after Minneapolis, they should move to California. I think they should go from Minneapolis to the next battleground state. Even, people talk about Ohio being kind of reliably red. It could use some fortification. You know, it wasn't exactly the slam dunk in 2024 as it was in 2016. You go to Ohio, maybe you go to Pennsylvania, you know, you go to these states that are borderline or that were borderline blue, like New Jersey. I think that you go to a lot of these like manufacturing states. Michigan is another one where you can prove that illegals are not just taking strawberry picking jobs.
Right.
That's one of the big shields that the left has used for a long time. Like, they're just stealing rock picking and
They're
strawberry
jobs that
picking
you
jobs.
wouldn't want to do.
Yeah, and then
That's
it's
such
not
an
the-
elitist mentality.
yeah, who will clean your toilets, Donald Trump? It was
It's saying we are too good for some jobs. We think we're better than those people.
yes. And I just think that you have a real opportunity. I remember Caleb Hammer in one of his financial audit videos. He had some illegals on there. And the one guy was driving forklift for $30 an hour cash. It's like, I know a lot of US citizens that would love to make $30. $30 an hour cash is $40 an hour payroll. And by the way, his wife was accepting cash benefits from the United States government too. So it's like this nonsense. You start going in these cities, you're seeing that a lot of these illegals are doing good paying jobs for just a little less money, which is essentially kind of what they're doing. I think you could really open up a lot of eyes to hardworking Americans that think, hey, these illegals really aren't stealing my job. But they are. They absolutely have been.
No, they have. And I think that's the out of sight, out of mind mentality that so many people had about illegal immigration for so long. Like they believe they're like, oh, they're just coming for the American dream. Never mind about the human trafficking that's involved. Never mind about the crime. Never mind about the drugs. Never mind about the violence that occurs because of illegal border crossings. You get this package of like
80% of the women are sexually abused. It's some crazy high number.
Every feminist who claims to be supportive of open borders or against Trump's border plan doesn't support any woman who's crossing the border because they're asking them to be attacked in order to get here. I think that's nuts. But instead, they just package it and put it far away. The same thing with the jobs. I mean, they wouldn't do these jobs, so therefore no one in America could possibly do them. But they have never met a blue collar or a working class family that has said like, no, I'm willing to put in the hours to do the work, or like this job is something I need right now, but it's not my job forever. They are willing to talk about that when it comes to minimum wage, like restaurant workers. They're like, they need to get high pay, but they aren't willing to think about, the illegal practices that can come when someone is undocumented and not having to be subject to any kind of regulations. Like it's all closing their eyes to the loopholes in their own arguments.
Yeah, well, just like you said, it's the bigotry of low expectations, or it's just the racism of liberals that they have no idea the level of how do I say this? Like they have no idea the level of they're fine. Well, I said it earlier. They're fine with them picking strawberries, but they are absolutely not fine with these people taking their jobs. And that's the real reality of it. They absolutely are taking their they're taking all sorts of jobs. And if you're not worried about them taking your job, if you're an unemployed middle-aged white woman, well, they're making your rent 20% more expensive. They're making your health care 20% more expensive because these people are going and getting health care and not paying for it, and that rolls downhill. I mean, there's an enormous, like, actual real world, effect of widespread mass illegal immigration that liberals just, they just don't understand.
I agree. I think part of the headache with all of this is like they are good at messaging to a fault. Like, they're like, ICE is coming and storming the neighborhood. They're gonna like ruin everyone's lives. I can understand where some people freak out, but when you ask them, like, well, why is ICE here? How did we get to the point where a person was elected almost entirely because of their stance on illegal immigration? I mean, Donald Trump has some other wins. There are other reasons people like him, but he was one of the first modern political or presidential candidates to take the illegal immigration problem seriously. And it's because people aren't buying the headlines anymore. Liberals might be, but I also think they're looking for a reason to be rowdy under Trump. It is good for them if it looks like America's in chaos because of Trump. They can say, look, you're in Donald Trump's America and everything is more dangerous and there's all these things happening. Meanwhile, they're causing the problems,
Right.
and they don't like the solutions.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Now I want to, we have some viewer messages I want to read. And then I want to talk about this church thing, because this is actually pretty crazy. Grofty says, smash the like button. Israel.gov. Oh, the Amelia. I don't know. Amelia is a character from the UK propaganda game that was hijacked by the right wing. I don't know what that is. I don't know.
I don't know
Is it
either.
a real person or a video game person? I'm always looking for more smart women to be on the show. So if that's a real person, they should email me.
You are about to be the most women supporting network of all time.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
funny.
yeah, I'm all for it. Rodney says the two major problems I see is Democrat control the judiciary, true, and normies sucking down MSM and Facebook propaganda like it's 2015. Well, I mean, I think that's true, but I also think it's a couple of major arms of kind of that propaganda world is gone now, isn't it? CBS News, now run by Barry Weiss, has definitely toned down a lot of the propaganda. No more Stephen Colbert after May. Jimmy Kimmel's viewership is down. I think that there's just a lot, like, fewer places where liberals can consume kind of that regular, real world, or the regular kind of box stock, Orange Man bats. So shout out to Joker Effect for rating. I was hanging out with Joker before the stream, and absolutely had a blast blessing up some up and coming creators. I don't like saying smaller creators, but just definitely up and coming creators.
Blessing up. Okay.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I'm hip. I'm cool.
You kids and your slang. It's just
Noah's
so fun.
Arcade. Yeah. I don't say mogging, at least, which is a cringe Gen Z meaningless term. I don't say
No,
kind
you're
of a
allowed
lot
to say
of
whatever you want, team. I'm not here to limit your free speech.
Well, I mean, sure. I mean, that is a thing. But definitely enjoying it. I want to bring up this Don Lemon thing because it's really, 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 it's potentially a big deal. I mean, we're talking about real prison time. And you're kind of talking a little bit of like the J6 effect. Crickleberry tipping 25 on Rumble Wallet. Very, very cool. Yes, I'm going to have the Rumble Wallet QR on my screen to make it easier for people. Big fan of Rumble Wallet because it goes directly to supporting us, it's the only way I have crypto, and now I have it.
Is it me? Is it you?
I don't know. I don't think I'm locked up. Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. You were for me first. It always makes me nervous that I'm going to have to suddenly become interesting.
Yeah. And we don't have to share the money with Rumble or Chris Pavlovsky, who has plenty of money.
You're like, Rumble gave us this thing, so we can stop giving them money.
Yeah, yeah. So I would definitely, download Rumble Wallet. I'll get the QR code on the screen, so make it easier, but it's definitely been awesome using Rumble Wallet. I used Rumble Wallet today for the very first time and super chatted someone $100 in crypto, a small creator or an up and coming creator. No, you don't. I mean, if you want, I could pay you via Rumble Wallet each month if that's what you would prefer. Ooh. But I do want to get to this Don Lemon story because I'm curious. Do you think they're going to go all the way? Here's a clip talking about, the DOJ Benny had someone out from the DOJ who said that they were considering charges.
Look, we have a presumption of innocence in this country, so I want to preserve my ethical duties here. But let me just say that he's a journalist. He was a journalist. I don't know what he is now, but journalism is not a badge or a shield that protects you from criminal consequences when you are part of a crime. And I think the videos show how close he was to these folks. I think further evidence will show more.
He was basically embedded with them. He tried to pretend like he wasn't, but we have evidence on that too.
You wouldn't have been able to tell.
Right.
But he clearly knew, and he stated before going into the facility, it's on his own video, what was going to happen there. What was going to happen was a violation of federal law, federal criminal law. And I don't know what to say. I mean, the FACE Act has been out there for more than 30 years, and there were lawyers involved in this so-called protest, and their purpose was to terrorize people of faith in a house of worship. They were targeting a different pastor, not the one seen on camera, who they got information was a ICE supervisor. None of that matters.
Doesn't matter.
It's off limits to go into a house of worship to do your little protest. Protests can occur on public property. Protests can occur outside, on a sidewalk, certain sidewalks, not all sidewalks. And this is like basic what you learn in the first year of law school. There's a time, place, and manner restrictions on the First Amendment right of protest, and they were violated here in this case. No question about it. The only question is who was involved, how many were involved, and how many charges are going to be brought here. Those are the questions.
I mean, I think that one of my biggest complaints about the Trump administration is that they don't go low enough. That if the situation were reversed, we know Owen Schroyer is a reporter. He is right wing, and that did not protect him from January 6 charges and sitting in federal prison in solitary confinement. I just think that like the momentum is too great to just kind of let anything slide right now. You let the dork protesters get off with like lesser charges, maybe, I don't know. But Don Lemon knew what he was doing. He knows the law. He broadcasted it. He was embedded with these terrorists. And there's a well-established law in the books that you can't do this. Do you think that the Trump administration kind of puts, do you think that they will actually pursue this and put him in prison?
It's hard for me to say. I understand where an official from the Trump administration can't necessarily come on to a news program. They've done this a couple times and say, we are definitely for sure 100% doing this thing, right? Like DOJ's had some bad precedent for that. So I can understand hedging the bets. It doesn't seem like a slam dunk from this interview to me. But I think they should. I think they should do something about it. Last week, everyone was freaking out because the Trump administration raided the home of a journalist because they were looking for information connected to the leak related to the Maduro raid.
Right.
You and I talked about it, like, yes, journalists need to be able to correct their sources. I understand why the government needs to make sure there are no leaks. Like, we have kind of a mixed gray area opinion on it. In this case, I think that not doing anything about Don Lemon or the protesters in general, because he's not the only one. He's just the high profile face that we all know.
Right. But we know that's how they prosecute. You know?
Well, and it's not enough. Like, if you're like every single one of everybody else but Don Lemon got arrested for this, it would show you that, like, if you're famous enough, you can get away with it. And that's not okay. Don Lemon doesn't have the right to say, well, I'm a journalist, so I get to disrupt an act of worship, right? Like, dare I invoke any other religion? If he had gone into a synagogue or into anywhere else, a mosque, like, everyone would be clear this was unacceptable. I don't know why Christians would get a different treatment.
They do, though.
Of course they do, but I don't want to keep just because historically we have drifted to a place where it's like some races you can make fun of and discriminate against, and some religions you can, doesn't mean I want for it to continue. And I think the Trump administration could lead the helm on saying, like, there is a line and you guys have all crossed it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that in terms of the law, this is pretty cut and dry. The Trump administration has had a history of kind of giving people a break that I think don't deserve it. I just don't, you know, I think you got to charge them. I think you got to charge them. You can't commit a crime and be like, I was just reporting on it. Your Honor, I was robbing that bank. I
I was
wasn't robbing
doing
that
a
bank.
ride
I was
along
just,
with the robbers, with the shoplifters.
yeah. I mean, I'm not really gonna stan Nicki Minaj, but I do appreciate her reach. You know, she's like, Don cocksucking Lemon is disgusting. How dare you? I want that thug in jail. He would never do that to any other religion. Lock him up. I mean, I may not care for Nicki Minaj, but 100% true and base statement. 100%. There's no denying it.
It's not like going out there being like, well, I think it's really important that we protest, whatever. It is interesting that everyone is like, no, this was wrong. I don't think that there are very many people who are looking at this and being like, that was a major left win. These people look really good.
Yeah. It's you know, I don't know how this, I just think you got to do it. I think you got to do it. I think you got to charge him. I think you have
to charge him at the least. Obviously, I think he should face punishment for his actions. Hypothetically, they could offer him, some super reduced sentence. He could take some plea. He might not even, see trial. But you can't. I don't know if you saw this. I sent
it's
you.
It's like what's his name, right? The Juicy Sommelier, Jussie Smollett. Like, you have to charge that guy. You can't. I don't agree that he didn't do any real time, and I don't agree that he basically skirted the system. But at least they charged him.
Right. He had to be charged. I mean, what it's reminding me of is, I think you probably saw it, but the House Oversight Committee released a statement saying on Wednesday they are going to pursue contempt charges against Bill and Hillary Clinton because they are not above the law. In fact, they are as compliant. They must be as compliant as everybody else. To me, I think that Don Lemon doesn't get an exception. I don't think these protesters get an exception. Of course, I believe in free speech, but this is the balance of, freedom of religion and free speech. And there are other places to protest. Storming a church service has never been a good idea. In fact, all the time someone has stormed a church service in more recent years has been to fatal consequences, right? Like, correct. I've never heard of a positive from this.
Yeah, I mean, so the oversight subpoenas are not suggestions. They're enforced by law. Bill and Hillary Clinton defied their subpoenas and must be held accountable. This Wednesday, we are beginning the process to hold them in contempt of Congress. No one is above the law. Look, we all know what this is. This is we're giving you 3 more days. Like, they're giving them what I believe is not a benefit of the doubt that they should have been given.
Right.
They ignored the subpoenas last week, which were supposed to be on, was it Wednesday or Thursday or something like that? I don't know if they extended the same to Steve Bannon or that other guy I keep forgetting. This idea of like, well, Bill and Hillary get another week to screw around. They should have began the process within 60 seconds of them not showing up, because that's what the Democrats would do. Like Steve Bannon did 6 months in federal prison because of this. Like, I don't give a crap that
there's like a procedure. Like, Steve Bannon did ultimately turn himself in. He surrendered to, law enforcement, whatever. Yeah. Bill and Hillary Clinton could do the same thing. I mean, I guess they must be indicted for contempt of Congress first. But I think the idea that Bill and Hillary Clinton, after saying Republicans are skating subpoenas and they're defying Congress, are doing the exact same thing and not batting an eyelash.
Incredible backfire.
Also, like, oh, so you do think that you are, you do not have to play by the rules of anyone else. You think that you are so good at manipulating the public that you don't have to do what you were demanding Republican allies were having to do during Joe Biden's time in office.
Yeah. And you just gotta, you gotta know that, like, normies have to see this. Like, normies are like, wait a minute, why aren't they going? yes, the true believers or whatever, like the crazy people are going to think like, well, Trump's making an unlawful demand and blah, blah, blah. Fine. But like undecided voters, they have to be like, well, what do you mean? I thought you wanted the Epstein files released. I thought you wanted accountability. Bill put out what, the 4-page, statement talking about how, well, when they thought it was going to be bad for Trump, they were all about that accountability. They were all about that. But now when they get subpoenaed, they're like, well, wait a minute, not like that. We want accountability, but not like that. What's that?
I was going to say, you can't do it to us.
Oh, right.
You're not allowed to subpoena us. We are anti being subpoenaed. I think this comes with being the like party that claims they are the party of law and order for so long that like they do that so that they can say what the laws are. They can say it's not okay when Steve Bannon, says that he doesn't need to. It wasn't like he just like refused to go. Like he went back and forth with a lawyer. Every American has the right to fight to not have to be subpoenaed, in my opinion, right? But ultimately, if you're not able to throw off the subpoena, then you have to show up. Bill and Hillary Clinton have to do the same thing. I don't know why they're able to act like it doesn't apply to them, other than this is the way Democrats operate.
Yeah,
I hate to talk in generalizations. Like, I don't like to be too like, oh, they do it because they're Democrats, but like some of it is like this narrative of like that side is bad and wrong and everything they do is wrong. And to me, it feeds into why we get these protests. Like you get these protests because people are starting to say we are allowed to do whatever it takes to disrupt ICE and to fight against Donald Trump. Even though we know that these things are probably not lawful, that we shouldn't be allowed to do them, we feel like we are justified in our ends because we are the moral superiority, the moral good in this country.
Well, you use their key word, feel. That's exactly what they're doing. Channel name says, I've got low faith in DOJ for prosecution, but at least we can look forward to Don L calling the Klan Act racist. Yeah, that would be funny. Lone Wolf says, I heard that Republicans in Congress are telling Trump to not use the Insurrection Act when it's clear he should put an end to the chaos. I have had a change of heart on the Insurrection Act, Hannah Claire.
Ooh, because you were calling for it.
Yep, I've had a change of heart. I think he shouldn't do it. But what I do...
How did we arrive here?
I'm getting there. I think he should still flood the state with 5,000 FBI agents and DHS agents, because that essentially accomplishes the same thing without giving the Democrats the talking point. Yeah.
That's part
you
of
do
the
Insurrection Act so you can flood the state with, you don't need the Insurrection Act to send 5,000 DHS agents, which is what they're doing.
Right.
I think that is what you do to not give the left the headline about, the federal government invading the state. I have had a change of heart on it. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying
the optics are part of the battle.
Yeah.
Just the way it is. And wrong or right, the way the move looks on the board to the other players matters. Also, I don't know anything about National Guard. I'm not trying to imply anything, but like ICE is there for a purpose right now. And I think sticking to the mission as opposed to now layering in another level of federal law enforcement keeps it cleaner. We are here to deal with illegal immigration that was out of control, that became even more out of control under the Biden administration. Minnesota in particular has been abused by people who are not citizens of this country, abusing their welfare state and scamming a lot of money out of taxpayers. You just hit the messaging over and over again. When it becomes like ICE is here and ICE was having a hard time, so we brought in other law enforcement, that's when you get to point back to like, oh, he's a dictator or fascist. Like, feeds the delusion they already have.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's really all of it. Is you have to, optics matter. And I think if you just send, you send 10,000 DHS agents, like that's all you need. I know that's like all you need is 10,000, but like it's no different than sending the National Guard. You're not deploying the military in the state.
Right.
I don't think you win a single new vote by deploying the National Guard there. So I think you just keep flooding. You keep flooding these people. The text vet says, I don't care about optics. We're beyond optics. The statement needs to be made. We are serious and you will stop. Anything less is just typical slow the roll Democrats neocon trash. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think I would like debate against it strongly, but I at least see value in saying like, we have to win the optics war too. And if the Democrats get to say this, I mean, look, we've already been there for a month. Send 5,000, 10,000 more people there, get it done, and win the optics war. Because conservatives over the weekend were handed a massive gift. Like, you have the left storming churches for crying out loud. I don't think it looks worse than that.
The left, who screams for their safe spaces, don't respect the sanctity of a religious institution.
Yeah.
That's just that's all you need to say.
Yeah. I think Scott says, I thought you quit streaming. No, I didn't. And
did you threaten to quit streaming? Did I miss something?
No, it's no, I don't think so. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting time though. Tank says, Jeremy, I love you, but I believe Don Lemon will be arrested when he's in cuffs and perp walk. Scam Bondi. Oh, I'll believe it when it happens. Yeah, I mean, 100%. Yeah. Also, he says, and slowing down does nothing to save Americans. It's not about voting. This will go to war if it doesn't stop. I mean, it's definitely ramping up, but I think 5,000 more DHS people on the ground goes a long way to keeping people more safe. Now, what's going to happen is we have this video from Nick Sorter, kind of harrowing video, kind of crazy stuff, getting dragged down the sidewalk from a Somali driving on the sidewalk. This is going to have I'm glad he's safe. I really wish he would have let go of the car because he could have been seriously hurt. I don't blame him, obviously, but we get this clip now, which I think is also going to kind of backfire. Here's a clip.
Hey, get! What did she just do?
So she reached into the car and stole his $1,000 camera.
Oh, shit. Okay, it's okay.
She took Nick's camera.
She runs into the car.
She just stole Nick's camera.
Man. He's driving on the sidewalk.
On the sidewalk, yeah.
Just tell her to give him the camera back.
He could have been killed. You got to let go, dude.
What happened, Nick?
They just stole my camera.
Right out of your hand while you were in the car?
That's what the fuck you wanted, right? That's what the fuck you wanted, right? That's what you did. Man, listen, motherfucker.
Yeah, real tough guy. Take your mask off.
Get the fuck out of here. You fucking coward. What the fuck are you, a coward?
Yeah, and by the
He
way...
confronted her.
By the way, yeah, he was very not cowardly. And by the way, after this, the police show up and basically tell him to keep it pushing, white boy. They're like, well, we're going to need you to leave the area. The only reason he got justice, here's what the cops tell him, by the way.
We have a ton of calls stacked that we have to answer.
We're busy.
So,
yeah, we're too busy.
I don't have a time frame for you, but my point is you guys need to not be in this area. I mean, I can't tell you have to leave, but if we're getting calls that you guys are harassing people,
But driving around is not
harassing.
We were the ones being harassed.
And 100%. If it's,
I mean, absolutely cucked. I mean, so we just have Somali no-go zones where people aren't allowed to go, and then the local police are enforcing it. I don't see any other way.
Well, and listen to him. He sounds defeated, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I know. I mean, could you just I don't think this is an acceptable response, but also he is leaning on their good civic nature to be
please don't
not confrontational. He's like, I can't get control of these other people, so it's easier for everyone if you leave. That's not fair. They aren't doing anything wrong. Their stuff is being stolen. They have the right to move through the city like everyone else, but he's relying on the fact that basically they're orderly and the other people are not to make his job easier.
Yeah,
and I'm sure he's got a ton of calls. Like, it's a mess,
fine.
but
Yeah.
still.
I sympathize with the officer, but I also I push this up the chain of command. The police chief needs to be like, no, this shit isn't okay. You have people blocking the streets, assaulting. I mean, now that the FBI basically this is what they told him. He tweeted out the video and the FBI immediately responded. And they're like, we're on it. This woman needs to be charged with attempted manslaughter at minimum, like driving away on the sidewalk with him in the car. I mean, this is not. I mean, this is
Attempted
these are very
manslaughter.
real
I would
charges.
think endangering the public. Like, it's not just like when she pulled through that crowd. Like, I get it. She hates Nick. She put him at risk. She also put everyone else who was gathered there, the people, I guess, who are like on her side, whatever like protest group she showed up with. Also, her grabbing the camera is filmed. Like,
That's a felony. It's $1,000. Yeah,
$1,000 camera. Can you imagine if you're sitting in a coffee shop and like you have your laptop because you're a laptop worker, and someone came in, stole your laptop, and then you got told to leave because you were causing the problem?
I mean, did you see where these anti-ICE protesters were harassing people in a coffee shop for working on their laptops, called them ICE and stuff like that? By the way,
I haven't seen that video, but like,
yeah, that happened over the weekend too. This is not America. You don't get to have Somali no-go zones. I mean, we all know how it would play if I said, hey, my neighborhood's for whites only. And the cops rolled up and said, hey, Blackie, you got to get out of this neighborhood. I know you're not obeying the law, but you got to keep it pushing, black guy. Like, that would never. Cities would burn for that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Don Lemon would be all over it.
Yeah, I mean, it is. By the way, do you know who owned that vehicle? Do you see where that traced back to?
No, I didn't.
A Somali autism center. One of the many that are linked to fraud. Yeah,
wow.
Of course. You know what I mean? Spike says the main reason the left is freaking out is because in the 2030 census, blue states could lose 8 to 15 electoral votes based on deportations. Didn't Minnesota already lose one? I thought I read somewhere that Minnesota lost one.
Last time. I know that Rhode Island is supposed to have lost one because they do the census, they report the data, then they go up later and they're like, here's the error that we made. So the numbers are like inaccurate at best. But that's totally reasonable. I there are a lot of reasons why they're freaking out. But
this
they
is
have
another way.
Right. I mean, there's no reason they didn't want the immigration status. Are you a citizen on the census in the first place?
Correct. Texas says, I seriously would like to hear how people can see that Nick video and think they're going to just stop. One side is being emboldened, the other is being suppressed. Why should they take the beating and accept defeat? Well, I agree with you, brother, but like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying we should take the L. I'm saying we should flood 10,000 more ICE officers there and Department of Homeland Security first. I am concerned about the optics, and the right is winning the optics war bigly right now, and the left had been winning it for the last 6 months with the Epstein file shit. So it's like, I think the right is like, yes, more idiot Somalis doing stupid shit like this is good for us. I wouldn't have felt that way if Nick had died, So, I mean, I think that I can acknowledge my own kind of, bias here and say, I don't know. But Rodney says, until the corrupt leftist authorities start facing actual consequences for their grotesque actions, the situation will continue to deteriorate. True. DB Door says, HCB, Tucker interviewed your dad. I'll be looking forward to that after the stream is over. Like, recently?
Yeah, so it was in the last couple weeks.
I can't even get the HCB dad interview.
I didn't know you wanted it. Should I bring him to work one day?
Yes, bring your dad to work day.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The thing that bothers me about my dad's interview with Tucker Carlson, and I'll tell you this right now, he didn't show Tucker one single picture of my baby. I mean, what kind of grandparent? I don't understand. Why even go?
You should text your dad right now and ask him how the Bears game went. Maybe you should tell. Maybe the Bears.
My dad
maybe
isn't the
Bears-
football fan. My dad's the British immigrant. But I'll text my
that's
other
right.
family
Yeah, that's right.
members.
That's right. Ken JMG gifted 10 Rumble Premium users, dude. Very cool. Thank you so much. That's crazy awesome. Yeah, I guess I didn't know about that. I'm not up to date on the HCB dad's lore and.
Well, I wanted him to be able to like drop it on his own. I don't think the interview's out yet, but I know they've recorded it. And I mean,
well,
I don't
people know, so he must have said something. Like people in chat know. Yeah, so that's cool. Well, I will. Yeah, I will be. I'll check that out.
Guy. He's just got a spicy reputation.
Oh well,
again,
you know what?
Everyone leave comments being like, but what about this grandchild photo?
Yeah, how come there is no promotion of, HCB doing her part?
That's why like white men with children gather is to brag about having grandchildren, but
You
I
would
don't
think.
know.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think. Yeah, I mean I think Don Lemon. I think you can get a big optics win here by charging Don Lemon. I don't think that the left. I mean, you put the left in a really weird spot. Like, are they going to defend storming the church? Are they? They're going to say he was just reporting. Maybe that's what they're going to say. There's a lot of. Oh, go ahead.
He's just reporting. I think you still have to justify that a little bit, right? Like, was he there with a camera crew? Is he actually able to produce like footage from before saying, I'm here, whatever? I don't know that. And again, like I want a free and fair press, but I don't think you can just be like, but I'm a journalist and therefore I did nothing wrong. I mean, that's not what happens to right-wing journalists.
Right. I mean, because they did it to Owen Schroyer, they should do it to Don Lemon. Like that is a standard that has been set.
And then they can go back and use all of his posts on X over time as justification for his mentality. That's what happened to Owen Schroyer. They used stuff that had nothing to do with what happened on the actual day.
Correct. Text guy, I know not you, I mean normies, but what do optics mean in effect? Let's look at BLM protests. Those optics were on our side and nothing happened. It stopped because they got power. I think we care too much about optics. I mean, it's possible you're right. It's I don't know. I may be overvaluing it just because we've been losing the optics war for the last 6 months. And so it's like, I'd like to be on the winning side of it for once. But go ahead.
I was saying, you can't like put optics above everything. I totally agree with that. In the case of the Insurrection Act, you don't want to feed Trump is oppressive federal authority. I think you would lose some Republicans and conservatives if you did that too. I think the best case scenario, and I know I'm a broken record here, would be if the mayor or someone in Minnesota said, please, we need help, send in whatever.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen because they don't want to ask Trump for anything. But it would be a tool of like charity that he would be saving, he would be assisting. It's very easy for it to be twisted as him being a dictator. And that goes back to these No King protests, and it hits all the buzzword nerves that could potentially make this worse.
Yeah, I mean, I have a normie friend of mine who isn't heavy into politics, and I went to I went to him to a concert on Friday, and he literally said, "Oh, did you hear? Like ICE is hiring just about anybody. Like they hired a Nazi or something like that." And I'm like
what? My brother.
I don't even like our friendship is not about politics. I'm just like, oh, that's crazy. I said something like, yeah, well, I'm sure the Postal Service probably have hired, when you hire 100,000 people, you're probably going to get a few bad apples, is basically what I said. And I'm like, we'll just keep, But like, that's what optics, that is the optics. And when normies are out there saying ICE hires Nazis, like he's not a political guy. He's just like, oh, did you hear that?
Repeating what he had heard. Probably because you're the most political person he knows too.
Well, we were talking about hiring. Like he has a small business. I have a business. And we were talking about that. And he's like, oh, it's hard, this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, well, when you hire 100,000 people, you're probably going to get a murderer in there. Like, that's just a cross-section of society. I don't think ICE is knowingly hiring Nazis. But anyway, let's go to that concert. But like, that's what like optics, that's why when you see that, it's like optics does matter. You know, he heard that somewhere because I know I saw it on Twitter where they caught some guy who had the dual lightning bolt tattoos behind his ear. It's like, yeah, ICE should be screening for that shit. That's a huge fuck up. And the left ran that on the front page of their news sites all weekend long. And you know, I don't want that. There was another woman, by the way. Hold on a sec. McCall said, how long before Wide Eyes Walls executive orders horse sauce as the official drink and cuckoldry is the pastime of Minnesota? Tim Walz, I think he's been pretty quiet. Tim Walz has been pretty quiet lately.
He's been making statements that are like, "This is Trump's fault," right? But like,
but I mean, I didn't think he said anything over the weekend.
Nobody wants to put him on TV and ask.
Yeah, I think that he's been pretty quiet. I think the optics are very bad for him. By the way, look at this, just happened moments ago. Another woman blocking ICE in her SUV. Like, let's see if I can. Another chunky white woman.
Do not break my fucking window. You guys got into the John is looking at is a black.
Get out of the car. Put the car in park. Get out of the car. Put the car in park. Get out of the car.
Now, okay. So just so we're clear, when the left says that they were giving conflicting commands later, when this woman ends up dead, you know,
Jeremy, how would you interpret that? If he's screaming, "Put the car in park and get out of the car," what do you think you're supposed to do?
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. Yep.
You know I'm a Marine Corps veteran.
You know I'm a Marine Corps veteran. Who gives a shit? What difference does that matter?
Oh, I forgot. Marine Corps veterans don't have to obey the law.
Yeah, these people give. You know, I'd love to see her. I'd love to see what she did in the Marine Corps, by the way. But
Do
anyway,
you remember, like, very famously, there was like Reese Witherspoon and her husband got pulled over for a DUI, and
Yes.
she did like a "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah.
Like, this is like their equivalent, but in a way that like doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, honey. It does not matter that you're a Marine Corps veteran. Like, in fact, that makes it way worse. You should know the law. You should be. He said, "I don't care what you are."
But he was like, "Me too."
She's fighting with them, right? And you lose. Get on the ground. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of the car right now. Get the fuck out of the car, please.
That one's conflicting.
I mean,
if you move and also get out.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the clip ends, but like, what do you like? They were giving clear demands. You see that? I mean, from what I can see, I'm sure there'll be other angles that come out. I mean, they're clearly using their vehicle as a weapon. There's ICE vehicles everywhere. You know, we're probably ICE had warned her multiple times during the day. Like,
Well, and ICE is probably every ICE agent on the ground. They all have families. They want to go home, right? They want to do their job and they want to get home safely. And now that we have this precedent of like martyr made when she used her vehicle to hit an agent, that to me would indicate that you would be heightened for anyone who is refusing to get out of their car, who is potentially looking to be a copycat, to follow in this lead, so to speak.
yeah, I think. I had to see Huck was laying in his bed on his back with all his paws up.
Oh, what a baby.
Yeah.
How's he feeling? How's Huck?
He's good. He hasn't had any seizures in a while. Knock on fake wood. His ear infection is still we're fighting it, but it seems to be getting better. Israel.gov says, agree with viewers. These are people that believe gender is optional. They will not stop. Every time the U.S. wants to lose a war, the narrative becomes winning hearts and minds. Yeah, that's true. TextBit says, so if they're already doing the optics like you say, then what's the fear? The fear is that they'll lose the optics war. Because the second he declares the Insurrection Act, it will be on every news channel for the next month that Donald Trump has invaded. For the first time in 50 years, Donald Trump invades a state. I don't think people know how bad it will be. Like, just how bad, will it change people's minds? I don't know. But that's what the headlines are going to be for the next month. You know?
It's also potentially escalatory, I would assume. If you're someone who's already causing problems and you hear that Trump is invoking the Insurrection Act, he's sending in the federal government, military, whatever, it would be a call to further extremist action, and I don't think that's good.
Yeah, I mean, here, if women mistake civilians for ICE agents, now they're facing police action. Here, let's see. This deranged Karen was assaulting people. She thought it was okay until Sergeant Pepper showed up. Let's see here.
You might want to repark your car, though.
I'm not transparent.
I'm very. Whoa, man! Get off my stuff. Get off my.
He should have hit her with the meme. You can't park there, ma'am. You can't park there.
Hey! Don't touch my stuff.
Man.
Do not touch my stuff.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
What are you doing?
You?
Cat, love it.
Don't touch my stuff again.
Absolutely love it. I absolutely
What
love
was
it.
she trying to do? Like pull off his body camera?
I mean, here's police arrest a woman after she randomly harassed a man who she thought was an ICE agent.
Garbage? Are you ice garbage?
Yeah, nice try to find Owls. That's an old video. God, I hate monetization on X. I hate it. You know, it's just, I don't know what these people are. You know, now go home, wash. Oh, big pepper spray got me there for a minute. You know, like, no, go home, wash your face, and think about what you did and how you should have handled it differently. I mean, this woman pulls over and just like, oh, this lady is so funny. But Texas says, this one's just for y'all being good sports and having a good convo. Appreciate y'all. Hey, appreciate you.
Thank you.
And also, so your argument is that we should bow down to terrorist threats. They threaten to escalate if we do what is needed. So we should. No, I don't think that's not what Hannah Claire is saying either.
S agent is bowing down. I'm saying there are lots of ways to handle the situation. I don't know that the Insurrection Act is the best one right now.
Yeah, I mean, if he did it, I wouldn't be against it. I would just be like, oh boy, we need to like, you know, manage.
It's going to get worse before it gets better if you do that.
Yeah.
But it could be like that anyways.
Yeah, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, this is a huge mistake. But I would think, I mean, wording it would be everything. You know, it probably isn't going to happen unless there's another violent act. And then Trump can say, look, Tim Walz and Mayor, whatever his name is, Fry, you know, they're putting people's lives at risk through their inaction. And so we're doing this to protect people. Like if there's an ICE officer hurt or killed, I will, you know, 100%. I think they're really, really, really trying to not do it. But that's, you know, again, I wouldn't like have a mentee D, or I wouldn't have a meltdown about it.
If it comes down to it and he does it, like that's fine. That's what happens. I just think that there are some obvious cons right now.
Yeah.
And so it would be good if there is another way to support ICE agents and de-escalate the situation, because we know how playing the Insurrection Act card will go.
I just want to see him send like another 10,000, 5,000, 10,000 agents in first. And like, they should have did it weeks ago. Really, I think this like, and what I really, you know, the white pill is that they are not slowing the ICE down at all. Like,
doesn't
ICE
seem like
still,
it at least.
Yeah, ICE has 10,000 arrests. I don't know how many deportations that's going to lead to. Hopefully all 10,000 and their families. Maybe that's 30,000. I think, I just, yeah, I that's all. I'm just being cautionary about the Insurrection Act, because there's no going back from there. I'm not saying it's not warranted or not, or that I, you know, would have.
Don't want to play it too early. Like if there are other, if the Insurrection Act for whatever reason doesn't work, if it escalates tensions, like, and what comes next, you know?
Yeah.
I think we have a step before the Insurrection Act, but I understand if you don't.
That's surging more officers, not 1,000, surged 5,000. You know, like I don't, you know, fill up the state with 5,000 agents, and it just you started to see what, I don't know if people notice this, but ICE finally put up barriers around the facility over the weekend so that these protesters had to. This is what if only somebody had suggested this weeks ago. Like,
are you consulting for Department of Homeland Security?
Yeah, but guys got to make his, you know, $20 is $20. It's like you start with that shit, like, and then you get half as many headlines. if they aren't allowed to throw frozen bottles of water at ICE agents and they have to stay back 100 feet, like, you just got to control these crowds better. You don't let them get close to ICE officers. You don't let, you stop letting them follow ICE officers. I don't care if they get butthurt about it. By the way, somebody told me, like, you can just seize their cars. Like, you can seize their cars and impound their cars when they're using them as weapons against federal officers. Start doing that. Start, like, having not the $75 misdemeanors, the full force of whatever federal law they're breaking. You start impounding their cars, holding them for 5 years. You start doing this shit, and it goes away. It goes away in, like, 2 days. Like, they gotta stop, like, playing footsie with these people. And kind of, like, let's be honest, I've also said this before, like, this is an optics war that I do think Republicans like. Republicans are walking a fine line because they're getting all these great clips and all these great talking points. And especially because it's Tim Walz, because he has so much federal, national, like, people know him as vice president. He was on the vice presidential ticket a year ago. That was
who the DNC wanted to be one heartbeat away from the presidency.
Yeah.
That was their number 2 pick after Kamala Harris. I just want that on the record.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like,
Yikes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the Republicans know that Minnesota in chaos. I'm not saying agree with it. I'm just saying this is how it works. They know this is great for them. If they could run this out for another 2 months, they would. I guarantee it. Also, text for everyone too that reads, I think, will help you navigate these times and tactics of reading Art of War and Rules for Radicals. Know your tactics and know your enemy's tactics. Yes, both are
smart.
Big recommends. Omega says, Jeremy, if I didn't have to work all these hours, I would be your diversity site co-host. I have some base takes. Look, I can't add anybody until we get to 2,000 members. So we're along with 2,000 members just keeps the people I got. But I do want, again, I don't support, having people suffer for optics. I don't like when we use, like, illegals for, optics wins, but this is the game. Politics is a dirty game, and it's...
Well, and any kind of, like, military operation, any sort of police operation that involves securing people safely, I would think you have to be strategic about what you do. You can't, you have to acknowledge that some of your actions could potentially result in escalation unless you are able to roll them out carefully.
Yeah, by the way, we've got kind of a shorter stream today. I've got an appointment I've got to get to, but I'll make it up. I'll do an extra hour probably tonight. Before Timcast or after Timcast or maybe during. Let the people know where they can. Yeah, I don't know when I'll be back. So, I got to get back, got to cook dinner.
Got to keep everybody on their toes. No.
Yeah.
Don't explain it. Just be a man of mystery.
Well, download the Rumble app and follow me so you get the notification when I go live. I went live on Sunday and had 13,000 people. And it was an unscheduled stream. So
I've been considering if I should start going live on, like, Saturday mornings or something. But
at least do it to, like,
it's a commitment.
Well, go live and record your VODs. That's a great way to start it. You do double duty, You record 1 or 2 VODs, you hang out with chat, and you and then that way you just, that's what I did on Sunday. Yes, I am having collagen injections in my lips. It's true. Walls loves Somalis because Dave Reedy, the smart people he knows. Yeah, that's true. Jeremy's next hair. Hey, look, I told you guys, if I ever get hair plugs, I bought a lottery scratcher this weekend and it had, like, an instant win, and the prize right next to it was $2 million. And I was like, it was still $75, which was great. But, like, if I would have won that $2 million, you guys would know it because I'd have plugs. I'd be there and back to Turkey by now, and I would have had, I probably would have about 30 pounds of fat sucked out of me. Some hair plugs.
You would not even try to pretend it didn't happen. You would be like vlogging it. You would be like giving a.
I would,
You would use it. It's not like if I won the lottery, there would be signs. It'd be like if I won the lottery, I would tell you immediately.
Yeah, I would tell you, and I would be. I mean, the worst thing you can be is be a wimp about it. Like own it. Like Dave Portnoy has plugs and he owns it. You know what I mean? He doesn't.
A lot of guys in comedy do, I think.
Yeah, like who cares? But yeah, tell the people where they can find you before we raid Viva here.
Okay, you can find me on Rumble and YouTube and X. It's all Hannah Claire B, one word, like you see it written into this nice box over here. I'm gonna have a video up today at 4 o'clock. It's a little, I know it. We're a little rusty, but we're back in the swing of it. There are just two like crime cases that I think you're gonna hear about a lot, and I wanted to talk about them, so I did. So you guys can check that out. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It's Hannah Claire B. Of course, I'll be back tomorrow for Estrocast, which is of course one of two of the best days of the week. And yeah, I'll continue on. Thank you guys so much for all the support, by the way. I really appreciate it. And
yeah,
I appreciate that you guys are continuing to join us on this live stream, because
I think the mods,
it's the best place on earth.
Yeah, mods link her channels in chat. She's have a new video for today. I'll probably be back on later too. I just got a quick run and I've got to get some more hair plugs put in or whatever. You forgot super chatters. No, I didn't. I read them all, didn't I? Panicani, Benny Johnson shouted you out and your channel about midway through his stream today and applauded your good taste and meme skills. It's clear he's supported the show. No, he did that because he stole my videographer. No, it's a great, I'm happy for Steven. It's a huge upgrade for him. He's making more money. He has more possibilities to get more skills. Corporal Velez says, using prior service as a shield brings shames upon you and your branch of service is despicable. Huge agree. Omega, I got that. Yeah, not a good look to use that as a shield. All right, I'll see you guys later today. So make sure you download the app and you follow me and get Rumble wallet set up and go say hi to Viva. Bye, y'all.
Hi, Viva.